Yep. We've had a baby goat in the house, lived in here for months till they ate Rob's paperwork. Then it went outside. Pigs, cats, dogs. What else have we rescued?
Chickens have been donated.
Yeah.
That people just can't take care of anymore. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of yes. There's not a lot of no around here. There's a lot of yes. But it's all within reason, because obviously we're limited for our space, for paddocks and all that, and infrastructure to take some. If people are listening, we're not taking on another 20 horses. I'll tell you that now.
It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I'm Vicki. I'm a mom of 5 kids. I own Topline Feed and Farm Supply, as well as Chasing Butterflies Equine Rescue. All animal rescue, not just equine.
So, my name's Leppard Conant. Obviously, I'm married to Vicki and support her wherever she can in regards to her endeavors with Topline and Chasing Butterflies Farm. A little bit history of us. We moved to this area in 2019. Vicki's from this area originally. I'm not, but we wanted to go home. So a farm came up in the area. So we picked up a 50-acre farm and then slowly been rebuilding it to turn it into what we aspire, in that being an animal rescue. And from there, create Topline Feed and Farm Supply shortly after.
That's pretty awesome. So what brought you guys to the area is basically a farm was available. You guys were looking to create a farm? Like, that was the original idea?
Yeah, like we were from more of the GTA area. We were living down there, and work just got so busy. And my family doesn't live in the area. Vicki's family's from up here, so they provide that familiar support.
But also, like, with the kids going to school.
Yep.
I didn't want to have our youngest in school in Hamilton. Mm-hmm. So it was come back to the country, which I'm used to, and raise her that way. So we made that choice. Rob really didn't have a choice.
No, one day I was sent an advertisement of the property for sale and said, we need to buy this. Yep. And next thing I know, we're chatting with you. So what more does there need to be said? So, yeah.
So you guys are from Waubaushene, is that right?
We're in Waubaushene right now, yes.
In Waubaushene right now? Okay, awesome. And what do you like about the area compared to, I guess, the GTA? What's different about it?
Wow. The community. Definitely the community, small towns, getting to know people on a more personal level versus like big cities. You don't get to really know too many people. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and it's too large of a city, right?
Well, in the property we purchased, I think everyone knows somewhat of it. Yeah. Like the farmhouse has been, like the house itself, obviously it's gone through massive renovations, but it's a 153-year-old home. So people know this farm driving by. It's the one by the hydro towers. So when we first moved in, it started with people just popping in going, finally someone bought it. That's great. Look at the work going on. And then when Topline was established, the community again came more to support us because they like local business, which obviously we greatly appreciate. But then there's also that other one where they're like, I used to be on this property and here for a barbecue, or I used to live in this property, So they kind of got that nice tour nostalgia. It shows that it continues on and has a fresher breath air with young kids and, horses back on the property and that. So there was a excitement throughout the community of this place is back up and active and all that. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm always interested in people that used to live in the city and now don't, and what they think about it. Right. And, because it is a big difference, right?
Well, and I'm from the GTA, like I'm not from this area kind of thing. So it is a change, but there's no doubt it's a fantastic change if people have the opportunity to get out of the GTA, to move to the country. Because my example is to use is she was really young when we moved here. Our daughter and our friend, the yard was tiny. So you're worried that run 6 feet away from you and get run over by a car or something. Here, she could pick up frogs. She could walk on the property. We got 50 acres. So the experience and life lessons that she gets from that alone, you can't get anywhere else. And then you had the crime and all that goes to the GTA area versus up here, it's night and day. So
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about I don't know if I'm saying it right, equine rescue. Is that the right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So you started with that? Is that how it worked?
Yeah. I convinced Rob that I could bring in horses, the first week we moved in? I think it was about the first week we moved in, because we have a hay field. There's 33 acres of hay. So I was adamant. I convinced him that it wouldn't cost a lot because we have our own hay. Then I started bringing in horses that didn't have teeth. So in order for them to be sustainable, they needed to be put on grain 4 times a day. So then I was always at the feed store, spending a lot of money at the feed store. So that's how Topline kind of came about too, because we ended up buying. I convinced him that it's a good idea to buy the feed store. So I needed to supplement my horses with grain and the hay. So we've got it all now, right? So it shouldn't cost us too much money.
Yeah, so I guess that was a very smooth transition from what you were doing, which was just rescuing horses, right, to buying the things you need in order to keep them alive.
Yep,
right.
Absolutely. Horses, goats, dogs, a lot of animals.
She made it's a wise business decision too, because like although we may be close to other feed stores in the area, you drive in the wintertime on these back roads with the snow going sideways through the field kind of thing to go pick up that one bag of feed. So although it may be 15 kilometers away, that could take you an hour to go each way depending in the wintertime. So just viability, it didn't work. And especially she recognized, Coldwater needs it. It's a larger community, although it's just over 1,000 people. It's still a large farm community. The town itself is quite large, vice versa for Waubaushene and even Vic Harbor, that there's a void here. So we felt on top of subsidizing rescuing animals, it was a niche in this area that was needed to be filled. And Vicki just ran with it. So it was a smart idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And is the rescue farm portion, is that still up and active today? It's still going?
Absolutely.
That's pretty awesome.
And there's nothing else to say. There you go.
I just brought in another horse. So yeah, it's so I keep telling everyone I'm going to stop, and I just don't stop. I can't say no.
That's pretty awesome, though. And you said you rescue more than just horses now. There's other types of animals.
Yep. We've had a baby goat in the house, lived in here for months till he ate Rob's paperwork. Then it went outside. Pigs, cats, dogs. What else have we rescued?
Chickens have been donated.
Yeah.
That people just can't take care of anymore. So
yeah,
there's a lot of yes. There's not a lot of no around here. There's a lot of yes, but it's all within reason, because obviously we're limited for space for paddocks and all that and infrastructure to take some. If people are listening, we're not taking on another 20 horses. I'll tell you that now.
It depends on who you talk to.
That's it, yeah.
And what happens? I'm curious now. Like, what happens when somebody can't take care of a sheep or like a horse or something, and there's no rescue around? Like, what happens then?
They could end up in auction, and if a horse is injured, not rideable, has health issues or whatever that looks like for it, sometimes they end up going to not favorable places. Like they'll end up being on a feedlot, they'll go to slaughter. So I try and stop that from happening. There's been quite a few that were going to slaughter, and I stopped it. And these horses are incredible. Even if they're older and have arthritis, they still have a lot of life in them, and they're still beneficial to people. The emotional aspect that they give people is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So you guys actually use the rescue animals to help people then? Like,
Yep. Yeah, I do. I've met a lot of people on this journey. They either want to stop in, or there's someone in their family that's sick and their one request is to see horses, and I'll open the farm up for them. We've started taking horses to hospice, the palliative care home in Penetang, because they have a kids group there. and it's for grief for kids that have lost a significant person in their life, as well as the patients that are currently there. We've been able to take some horses over there to hang out with kids and have conversations, and they get to love up on the horses.
That's amazing. That's a a great way to utilize a farm and have all the horses and all the animals and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Just because they're not rideable doesn't mean they don't have a job. They're horses love to have a job, and 9 times out of 10 they prefer to be around people, right? So this is one way for them to, I don't know, give back to the community as well.
Well, yeah, and Vicki does it differently than others around. It's self-funded. We make this happen out of our own pocket. We're not government funded. Mm-hmm. We don't charge for people to attend our property if they want to come and see a horse within reason. If they show up at 6 a.m, they're not my friend. But within reason, they want to come see it. Absolutely, because there's a lot of people that don't have that experience to interact with the animals without turning it into this financial cost that in today's economy is very difficult. So it's different. Of course, we'll accept donations because every little bit helps, but we're not in that realm to have to start figuring out and getting people to pay just to make this happen. It's all out of the good heart. So again, it goes just back to Vicki's good nature of people can come and they can come see horses, and she's absolutely always welcome and encouraging. And I think people recognize that and they appreciate it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit more then about Topline Feed. You said it kind of came as a smooth transition from the fact that you guys were buying a lot of feed for the horses and for the rescue animals. So it just made sense, right, to open up your own store. What do you guys do there? What do you guys offer? I'm assuming it's feed, but what do you guys do there?
Yeah, all animal feed. We can pretty well, if we don't have it in the store, we can order it in, but we've got dog food, hog, cattle, horse, chicken food. We've got feeders, things like that. But if there's something, if a customer were to walk in and we don't have it on the shelf, chances are we could get it in for next week.
Vicki's business plan is quite different from others, and it throws some people off because when you attend it, we're not like other feed stores where we have a $500,000 building and you're walking in and it's a retail store. When you come, you're coming up our main driveway, so you have the experience of horses on both sides, and you're parking in the same parking spot that we may be. Vicki may be ferrying a horse at that point, or there may be, the kids are interacting with chickens. So it's very busy in a sense because it's a farm. It's an active farm.
Yeah, it's our home.
And we didn't feel to build this $500,000 building at today's prices to house bags of feed, which then changes our overhead, which means it has to be reflected into the feed costs. It just doesn't work again in today's economy. So we went as bone basic as we can, and we've converted one of our outbuildings into the feed store, and we have feed in climate controlled sea cans. So it's all a lot more simple. So when they walk in, it's not this massive building with tons of bags everywhere. It's very simple, very planned, and people understand and reflect that. And it reflects where we could sit and have a coffee and walk around. Vicki can go take you a tour of the horses, because she knows the horses, or we could sit in the store and chat about whatever, and provide the exact same quality of feed, type of feed and all that than all the other stores around. But we can do it in a lot more simpler space. It's not as overwhelming for some people, and helps with, again, price of feed for everyone.
Yeah. And you guys use the feed on the farm itself, right? Yep. So you guys have just firsthand experience and being able to tell people what the feed is or how it works or how it, interacts with the animals, right?
Absolutely. And if we don't have the answer, we have a nutritionist on board for horses that she's free, no charge for her, that we have recommended her to several different people that have horses that are struggling with weight or whatever the case may be. So we do have people behind us as well that we can do, here you go, this person needs help, and we don't just pretend to know everything.
And how does, feed, because I don't know too much about it, is it just one type of feed for every animal? Is there different types of feed? How does, are there different kinds? How does that work?
Yeah, there's similar feed, there's chickens and goats and pigs relatively are simple animals. As long as you give them the proper feed, you can run with one feed for their entire life, generally speaking, of course. So we diversify what we do in our store on what products we sell, because there aren't many different feed mills in the area in Ontario and even nationally and also internationally. But we like to focus all of our products mainly to be in the Ontario-based community. So at least we could say it's locally sourced versus broadening that scope, or then control, quality, and where all that comes from could be different. And at that point, we don't put all of our eggs in one basket. So hypothetically, if a feed mill goes under then we have a huge hole that's there. So our chicken feed and our hog feed, and some other stuff come from one company, and some of our corns and whatnot come from another company, because at the same point, we're trying to get the best price at the best quality for people. And that's key out there. And there are really good small companies out there that really go above and beyond, and that what they want to provide. They're not, a lot of them are not there to make the $1 million purchase or the $1 million sale. Sorry. They just want to make a good quality feed and sell it out to the community and let their feed speak for themselves. And that's what we've been trying to work towards over the years, is to find these companies, speak to them, and get them in here. And, we just had a new company that we brought on, and he sat down with us, and, obviously we're not a big business, like we're not a big building. And he's like, do you think you could maybe sell, 40 bags of feed a month? Do you think it can be it? I said, just hold your pen there. Watch what we can do, And next thing you know is he's coming to visit us. He's, oh, thank you. Okay, we're good. Never mind. I'll just be quiet, because we stand by what we say. And when we could sell a good quality feed at a good price, and we will, that's what we work for. And it's worked out really well with our suppliers too. They're very happy with this community.
Yeah, that's awesome that your suppliers are, for the most part, as local as you can make it, right? So that also helps, because it seems like everything that you guys do, from the rescue to Topline feed and all that kind of stuff, is for and by the community. So if you can have the community kind of involved in that, creating the feed and providing that for the animals in the area, like, that's just full circle, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And on top of that, like, obviously we're Topline feed and farm supplies. Like, again, we have to diversify, because if we're just going to sell bags of feed, that's just a one area. For us, we've diversified and gone out. So like Vicki said, we sell feeders, we sell, twines, we sell wrap, we sell a litany of different items out there to help the community. So again, they don't have to keep going to one store here, one store here. We try to bring in as many product as we can. And like Vicki says, we may not carry everything, but we could bring it in to be able to help our farmers, the community around here. Because I know everyone's busy. And, we're cutting hay, we're doing all that. So they have to keep driving around to get stuff. Doesn't work. One-stop shopping, that's what we work with. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And what area do you guys service? Like, people, I'm assuming most of the people that are your clients, they come to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got clients from Aurelia coming to us. We've got clients from Perry Sound coming to us. It depends. Our hours are different than other stores as well. We're open later. We're open 6 days a week. People sometimes still show up on Sunday when we're closed, and we still sell them feed, right?
What's your hours? Plug it.
Our hours? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Monday to Friday, 9 to 7. Saturday is 10 to 7. And Sunday we're closed. Sometimes. But it's also because it's a family base too, right? Like, our kids can run the store. They do. A lot of our customers have watched the kids grow up. The kids are running the store. Our youngest, she'll try and run the till, and she'll just have to ask them how to spell things, which is great. And they're accepting of it, because it's a family-run store, and everybody understands that. But also, if you want to come and have a conversation with me, have a coffee, if something is going on in your life, I'm there. I'm sitting there talking to you. So that's the difference between the big box stores and us.
That's amazing. And I'm assuming that is probably the largest differentiator between you guys and other feed stores, is that family feel, that that connection that you build with people, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they appreciate it, where they can go, like you've already raised, hey, I got an issue with my horse, or what do you think about this feed? And Vicky's like, let's go for a walk, and physically can go see the horses and talk about it, versus awkward descriptions or working with someone at a till that doesn't know what they're just there because they're trying to sell feed. We could be like, let's go or I got a question with chickens. Vicky's the queen of chickens. Let's go for a walk. And she can just knock it out of the park and really give that solid answer to people, which they appreciate. So
what do you guys do outside of Topline feed and the rescue? I'm assuming.
Do we have a life is what you're asking?
Well, Monday to Saturday.
We really, other than like doing little events,
we're farmers, on our off time. So we got hay season that goes on. You always have something going on at the farm. So that does subsidize a bit to sell the sales of, our hay and that. So we work on that. But at the same point, we do volunteer. We work with the Coldwater Fall Fair. We're coordinators for that. So that keeps us busy too. Again, get back to the community. That's what we always thought. So they came and knocking a couple of years ago on noticing our social media work that we do with Topline. It wanted our assistance and guidance on how to do it to obviously bring them up to that level, because a lot of them are not used to social media, which in the end just meant Vicki and I said, just get out of the way. We'll just take care of it for you. So from there, it's just been blossom where we just take care, we handle the social media aspect of the fall fair to get it out to the younger community. Because like Vicki's recognized and we presented to them, they needed the young people are missed,
Yeah.
They're not attending it. In today's world, everything's social media. So let us work with you. So that keeps us busy, especially as we're getting closer to September. It just gets busier with that. But
so he's asking if we have a life.
That's it. That's our life. That is our life, is social media, cutting hay,
and animals,
and picking up manure.
Yeah,
there you go. One of those orders,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, if somebody wanted to, I'm interested in how you guys would want to answer this question or don't. But what do you guys recommend for people that want to get into farming, that are on the GTA, that want to, live that life, leave that life behind? What do you guys recommend?
Start small, do your research, for sure. Don't jump in with both feet like we did.
Yeah.
If you can swim, that's great. But I think that the biggest thing is do your research. If whatever animal you want to bring onto your property, do your research about that animal to ensure that you've got the proper setup, the proper feed, and whatnot, because it just makes life a little bit less confusing if you know what you're doing right off the top.
One, that's bang on, and I think also is understand what you get yourself into. Farming 5 years ago when we started, even 10 years ago, to what it is now is vastly different. So you're telling an acre property these days is $26,000 to $31,000 an acre purchase price. So you try to pick up, again, our example is 33 acres of hay. You do the math for that. You're not going to get your money back in your lifetime. Like if you think you're going to go and you're going to farm, and you're going to be your income, so you can't. So that's where Vicki recognized that, and we have diversified the farm. Yeah, we do hay sales, great. But diversify, where the feed store, although it does subsidize the rescue, that also helps bring in income towards the farm for us to do our day-to-day life. So people coming from the GTA and thinking they can just buy a property down the road and can start it up, it's a totally different than what farming was so long ago. And then you put into the equipment costs of what you want, depending on what you want to do. Let's say I'll just use hay as an example because that's what we do here. There's so many implements that are needed and equipment and costs associated to it. There's a huge capital that's needed to get started. So people need to recognize that if they want to start something out, because you'll burn through your capital very quickly, and then where is your income going to be coming from at that point? So a lot of farmers even around here, there's very few that are left that live off the land. Can we call it that? They have full-time jobs, and they may be really good in beef or really good with show cows, or they just sell crops, but they also have a full-time job on top of that, because again, today's costs and prices of diesel and seed and all that, it's a very difficult life to get into. Worthwhile in the end once you get to that, but and you look at, there's not many farms left that are selling turnkey and go. All the older farmers are leaving and they're selling their equipment, so you're buying this property and you got, nothing to start it off with. So they just got to keep an eye on that.
Did you guys have, and I think I forgot to ask this before, but did you guys have any experience farming when you guys decided to jump in with both feet?
Him, no. My grandfather owned a beef farm. So I've been in the country and around farms growing up and whatnot, but Rob had no idea what he was getting into.
So that was an interesting transition for you then.
It was fantastic. Hey, we bought a farm. What could go wrong? And then, hey, we have horses. And then we got to figure, well, what do horses eat? Hey, so you know what? I'm going to buy that 1979 tractor and see how that takes me. That lasts us 6 months until, you just figure out as you go and talk to the great community around, and they're happy to educate young, naive people.
I'm not naive.
That could go wrong,
I knew what I was getting into.
Wanting to get into farming and do that. So, but it's a learning, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention before you wrap up that we haven't mentioned so far? Anything we might have missed?
I just say, as this goes out to the community, is come visit us, come visit Topline, come visit Chasing. Vicki said the hours. We're open. We're here to talk. Be you want to bag a feed or not, but come pick our brain. We have a lot of experience now, a lot of contacts. So if it's something you're interested in getting into farming, you want to talk about it, or you want to talk about animals, you want to talk about horses and what may be the best horse for you, our door's open. We're happy to show, and the kids can come and experience it. And people can come visit when they want, just not Sundays.
Or at 6 a.m.
Yeah, or at 6 a.m. Yeah, I know 6 a.m.
And where can people learn more about Topline Feed and what you guys do? What are your social media, your website?
Oh, goodness. Topline Feed is on Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
Are we on Twitter? No.
Not on Twitter. TikTok within reason. We don't really do.
Chasing Butterflies is on TikTok and on Facebook. Chasing Butterflies has blown up on TikTok. But yeah, we've got our website.
Toplinefeeds.com.
And sorry, Chasing Butterflies is the equine rescue. All right. I just wanted to double check because I don't think we mentioned that. But yeah, that's awesome. So I think that ends the episode, and I want to thank you guys for coming and being part of this episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.